Greetings everyone, it's Paulie. Firstly, it's been a while since I've done a video, so this may be a bit rough around the edges, so just bear with me. I'm making this video on behalf of a number of queries I've gotten from new creatives about securing their first creative job and the process that I take behind it. Now, what I'm about to explain, it's not necessarily the process that you need to take. I actually encourage you to speak to other creatives and ask what processes they take. Add, mix, make your own, customize it to suit you to speed up your workflow. But I'm just going to go through a couple of things that I do when I'm securing a creative job, and these are things that I do to minimize the risks of I guess, any misunderstandings, any risks when it comes to I guess what the final products will be, payments and so forth, and just making sure that, you know, at the end of everything, everybody's happy with the experience. You've added value, as I like to your customers or clients. So today's video is about securing your first creative job. So what I'm going to do is start with, I've just touched on it, add value. If you're an eager creative, I found that my role was to try and add value, because they can go to anybody, but it's what can I do to add value? Is it, do I put extra editing time into that? Do I customize it to suit? Do I use the studio? What is it I can do to add value to my client? So, you know, if it's a wedding photography job, I might go, all right, well, listen, I probably will get someone else to do the photography and I'll do the video. That way they're getting both. And you know, some jobs you may want someone else, other jobs you may want to pass them on, but you just want to add value to your clients. Now, when you first put in contact with someone or someone reaches out to you, document everything. So first thing I do is I start a new Word document and I will copy and paste the details of my client so I can quickly refer to it. I also create a folder in which I keep a communications log. So, you know, I record when they messaged me, on what platform, what the message was, what they asked me to do. This way I can keep a log of what I'm responsible for, and you can share that with them if you like, but I rarely find I need to do that with clients. You want to try and keep your communication as well to one platform. Now, I get inquiries from, as you will, from many different platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, SMS, phone calls. You want to try and centralize them. The best place that I've found are emails. Emails I can quickly filter. They're time and state damped. They're a lot easier to use as documentation, to save PDFs, to put in that communications folder. But I just try and move all the communication to email. Even if the customer really doesn't want it, I try and move them to that. If they really want to stick to social media, fine, but I have trouble keeping up, you know, as others will. There's 50 million messages and it can be a task trying to keep up with those. Now, when they've contacted you, they'll have a request or something of that nature. One thing I like to do is I like to then go to their social media page, see what existing experience they've had with photographers, what they expect. I sort of qualify them in a sense of, okay, do they really need me? Am I going to add that value? Are they looking for something completely different? Are they looking for a portrait photographer or someone to do a media campaign, or a marketer or a brander, or an animator? There may be things that are outside my scope, and this is where you've got to learn to say no. So while I'm open to a lot of opportunities and a lot of assignments, there are things that I know I'm not capable of, and this is where you have to sort of qualify your clients. You may be eager to get these jobs done, but you've got to think at the end, is it worth the hassle, your time, possibly damaging your reputation and their brand if the job isn't done to the standard that they require or expect, or above that? Then you want them to get to outline the exact job. You want them to send you visual examples, especially. Once again, this is what I like to do. I'm not saying this is the go-to Bible or the exact way to do everything. I haven't gone to arts or college for arts or photography, so there may be a different way of doing it, but this is what I find is the quickest way, and that's getting them to send either a link or a screenshot or a link to a video or something that they've seen that they'd like to emulate or they'd like their final product to look like. If I say I want if I say I'm thinking of a fast red car right now, what make and model are you thinking of? Because I guarantee you it's different to what I'm thinking of. And this goes back to getting that visual example and really getting them to outline, go into the detail and outline what they want. Do they just want a 30-second video? What format? Do they want an intro animation? Do they want audio? Are they aware of the licensing rules? You know, all these sorts of things. So if they've got a job they've got due in a week, you may not be able to do that job because you're gonna skip a few of these steps and increase the risk of something possibly happening, and it's not worth it. You want everything to go right as often as possible. Make it easy, enjoy yourself. Why make it harder than it has to be? So once they've sent you plenty of examples, you've qualified them, this sort of gives you an idea, okay, they're serious. They will be posting my work, they probably will pay, they have an idea of what they want, and then you can start to formulate a contract or an outline or a contract brief or anything that's written. It needs to be written, and if it's in social media messages, that's got no time stamp. It's not going to hold up. I'm not saying any of this will hold up in a court of law, but it does give you a lot more standing and authority when it does come to anything in a legal sense. Once you've got the visual examples, assess the job. Okay, they need a 30-second video. How many photos do they need? Where is the location? Is it feasible? You know, if they're wanting to film on a city street, well, you need a permit for that. I advise against doing it guerrilla filming and breaking the law. You know, when are their operating hours? When are there people available? Is it a location that's accessible? Is lighting there? You want to ask all these questions. Is the job feasible? You know, if they've got a deadline in 3 weeks, it's going to take a week to plan, a couple of days, a day to shoot or 2 days to shoot, and you know, 4 times that to edit. You may not meet that deadline. So assess if the job is feasible. Once you've got all this information, you want to then start to create a contract, or at least a document that states the terms that the customer agrees to. Doing this vocally isn't, once again, goes back to that red car analogy. People forget, and my memory will be different to your memory. So this written process just covers your butt. It also allows you to go back, and if they have forgotten, they can just look back in the email because it's right above where they typed it. So you've now got, okay, when is the job? What's the location? What are the hours? How many photos? How many videos do they expect? Write all that down. What is the cost of your work? How many hours? What are the dimensions of the videos and photos do they require? Write all that down, because verbal doesn't mean a thing. Once that's all sort of written down, you can then visit the location, check out lighting, see how much real time's involved, what sort of photos you might take, and this then progresses into planning the job. So what time do you need to be there? What camera? What lens? What lighting setup? You know, if it's a wedding, do you need to amend their schedule so that you can get some photos before or after? Things like that, or B-roll. Once you've sort of got that outline, you want to then tidy it up and send them that as a negotiable document. So that is, hey, I've got this project brief, this contract. Some people are fearful of contracts, and you need to let them know that this is just a formality of the business. You don't want to keep it verbal, because once again your expectations will be different to them. So if they don't want to agree to these written terms, or they're not happy with them, amend them. It's not a sticking point, but amend them to where you're not sacrificing anything on yourself. So you're not leaving yourself too short a time to complete the job. You're not getting paid enough. So, okay, if it's only 2 hours photography, you're expected to say deliver 50 photos and a 30-second video. Well, that's going to take a good 20 hours maybe. Space that over 4 days, price that all out, explain that to the customer. Also factor in a feedback process, so that once you do deliver a product, maybe deliver a draft first. Always keep them updated on the process. So even after the job, the very next day, go, congratulations, you know, that was an amazing event. I do that with my customers because I mean it. I get spoilt. They give me food and everything else when I go out on jobs, so it's I feel obliged to say thank you. But keep them updated in the process. Don't go quiet on them. If you do have a problem, just ask them. Don't be afraid to ask. Yeah, send them some samples, but don't send them high quality. Send them low res so they don't just steal them. Make sure you watermark all your work, or if they don't want to watermark, are they paying extra for that? Once they've agreed to the contract, get them to take a screenshot of them signing it or a digital signature. That way you've got it, date it, save it. You can then, get your deposit. So if they're sending you a deposit, make sure you get that, because that then shows that they're serious and they're not going to. If you've booked this job and another opportunity comes up and you push that aside because you know this job is coming up, then on the day they cancel, well, you've lost out on that income. So a deposit sort of makes it more concrete. The deposit can come off the total cost. The deposit can be refundable if they cancel. If you give them 3 or 4 days to cancel, then you might give them the deposit or part of it back. Take out your time planning already. Once you've done all that, make sure you've got all your approvals to film. Or sorry, before you've done that, make sure you've got all your approvals to film. So do you have approval to film in the public or private area? Do you have everyone else's approval? Do you need any disclosure forms? Get all that sorted before you start to film. Are you filming minors? You need to keep this into consideration. Then, secure the deposit. You then go to undertake the assignment. Check your gear before you go. Of course, make sure it's all up to screen. Don't just on the day go, oh, I need to pack my bag. No. Check it a couple of days before. Shoot every day before, so to make sure your gear is working, because you don't want to rock up to the job and go, oh, my gear's broken. Well, that's on you. So make sure you've prepped everything, you're there early, you leave late, and you provide that value that I keep talking about. Next, you want to send some samples during your editing process, as I mentioned. So I send some low-res samples, heavily watermarked. This gives the customer an idea of where you're at, and also it's a great way to get feedback before you complete everything. So say if there's a video and I know it's going to take 20 hours and there may be some changes, well, I won't do that full video. I'll just do a segment, maybe 15 seconds. I'll show it to them. If it gives them the sort of an idea of the layout, the final look, I'll get their feedback and apply those changes to the video, and there's minimal changes afterwards. Once that's all done, you should have decided. One thing you need to mention in the contract is how you're going to transfer everything. Data can be quite large these days. Your cloud space may not be adequate. So, are you going to drop off a USB? Are they coming to you? Is it cash? Is it cash? Is it a digital transfer? Is it check? What is the final payment method? Sort all those things out in the contract. Once you've done all the editing and processing, complete that process. And then, of course, we'll get their feedback before you send the finals. Complete the process, take your final payment, give them the final copies, and essentially after that, you want to then, I guess, get some samples that maybe you can then cross-promote, or if it's something private, maybe some behind-the-scenes footage so you can show people you've done that job for your portfolio. But these are some of the steps that I take. Now, depending on the client, there's a couple less that I may take. If it's a reoccurring client, I know I don't need to check the location. I know the times already. I sort of know what they expect. So all I'm really doing is updating that contract, and that's X amount of photos. I'm going on such and such a date, and that's a quick 5-minute update. So you can avoid all these steps, but it does, I feel, increase your risk for something going wrong. So this minimizes your risk at something possibly going wrong, damaging your brand, their brand, and also if everything goes right, you're going to enjoy yourself more. So I hope that that's been helpful. If you have any questions, comment below. I will try and respond to them as quickly as possible. Now, in regards to contract samples, YouTube and Google are your best friend here. You will find an answer quicker Googling something and YouTubing it than you will asking someone. And furthermore, you'll find it in a way in which you understand quicker because the way the algorithm works with your search results. So if you're looking for contract examples or templates to maybe borrow and make your own from, there's plenty online, just Google it. There's actually lots of free ones as well, but don't just cut and paste. Make sure you read through them. Learn this process so that you can go, okay, well, I don't need that section. It's a 2-page document. Who's going to read a 2-page? How can you cut it down to 1 page if it's only a small job? So these little preparation things save you so much time, pain and anguish should anything go wrong or you have a bad experience or the customer maybe have different expectations. And it's not a case of you've wasted something. If this does occur and something does go wrong, it's a great learning lesson. Learn from it. If something did go wrong, reach out to the client and go, hey, how could I improve this better? If it went right, ask them, how can I have done it better? But yeah, it's not something that you should be doing if money is your ultimate objective. Money will come for you in the creative field very quickly, but you need to love what you do. If you think this is work, there are so many other jobs that pay better that will be less painful than this. But if you honestly enjoy it and it's a passion of yours, like it is of mine, then these are minuscule things compared to what I get to do for that short amount of time on the shoot and the experience that I have. So I hope that that's been helpful, everyone. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, yeah, enjoy your creative journey. Peace out.